You've seen some of the tractor videos by now, and we're actually going to look at another tractor. Go check out another project, because why not? I need more stuff to work on, because you guys like watching me work on stuff. So we're gonna go check out another potential project, just a small project. It actually works. If it works out pretty good, it won't be needing that much work. That will kind of be the whole reason to get it, right? So we're gonna go check out, it's not a car, it's not another Datsun, it's a tractor, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed some of the newer Coyote tractor videos, me working around the house, and that got me thinking, if you have one tractor, you might as well have two tractors. So we're gonna go check out this 1990s-ish model John Deere 955. It's a four-wheel drive, hydrostat transmission. It's got a front end loader on it. Comes with a bush hog that's out somewhere else in the yard. We're gonna go look at. But this thing's been sitting for at least 6 years. It has not ran in over 6 years. So we're gonna go check it out, see if it's worth investigating further, and then what it would take to potentially get it running and get it out of there. So hope you guys enjoy. All right, well, here we go. The first look at the 1990s-ish John Deere model 955 with the 70A loader. I don't know the year exactly. I'll pull the numbers off the back and figure it out at a later date, but we got a couple cobwebs. Check underneath the hood. Oh yeah, equipped with mice nests as per the usual with any old dilapidated abandoned equipment. First thing I like to do is check all the fluids. So we're going to check the oil, make sure it has oil in it. If it doesn't, that's not a good sign. Make sure there's no water mixing with the oil or any of the basic stuff that you check around when looking at something before the first start. Next, we're going to check the radiator, make sure it actually has something in it, some coolant or water. If it's got straight water, this does have some antifreeze in it, but if it's got straight water, chances are sometime during the winter it will have popped the freeze plug or potentially cracked the block, or some major issues, things we don't want to go there with. Looking at the fuel, it's got some old fuel in it, but it does have fuel in it. It's a plastic fuel tank, so you don't need to worry about rust in the fuel tank at all, even though it's a low level. Some of the older equipment, if you were to go find some steel tanks or anything like that on like excavators and dozers and skid steers, things like that, if it's not full of fuel, chances are you're going to have a ton of rust in the bottom of the tank, but we don't have to worry about that with the plastic tank on the old John Deere here. Tires look in really good condition. They actually look really new. They still have the little spikes on the side. And we'll figure out later why these tires look brand new. Both tires look good. They do leak down a little slow. We'll take a look at that at a later date. I've already pumped them up once, and they're kind of already slack. We got a little bit of a hydraulic leak towards the back of the tractor, kind of par for the course with these older pieces of equipment that have sat out. Some of the hoses get dry rotted and just start seeping. Nothing you can really do about that except tighten the hose clamp or clean everything off and make sure there's no hoses that need to be replaced. Right tail light's in good condition. Wiring appears to be present. Left tail light appears to be missing, and no wiring harness. So we're gonna have to fix that. Electrical connector back there for the seat looks good. And I'm just doing a general overview to something you want to do anytime you are checking something out to potentially buy. Just looking underneath, make sure there's no massive drips or things hanging down or holes in the either radiator or oil pan or anything like that. Make sure there's no loose hoses. front tires look just as good as the rear. Yep, they look brand new. As you can see, the powder coating of the paint has flaked off. Again, this thing is set outside for years. It's got the high and low speed on the right hand side of the tractor, and then the mid and rear PTO selector on the left hand side. Hydraulic hoses for the loader. They appear to be in good condition. You want to check the cylinders, make sure there's no pitting or rust, make sure the seals ain't blowed out. Looks like it's just got a little bit of crud built up on the back. Especially when these things are extended, they'll get a little bit of pitting, but these appear to be in good condition. Just checking the pins, make sure there's no massive amounts of play. You're always going to have a little play, especially in these home hobbyist type pieces of equipment or tractors, but just make sure the bushings aren't completely gone. If they are, it's not a big deal. You can replace them or re-grease everything, pack it in with grease, and it won't have as much movement. Yeah, all these cylinders look pretty decent. Dirty, but no major pitting or scarring or nicks or scrapes or anything. It's a good sign. Yeah, it shouldn't be that loose. Yeah, more flaking. Kind of par for the course. I want to check the Hobbs meter, see how many hours are on it. Now that is 68.4 hours. And something that looks in this condition with that few of hours makes me want to think one of two things. Either it's been sitting outside the entire time, getting sunbaked and damaged and rained on, which is definitely a possibility. This was left at a hunting camp for about 2 decades. So that's probably likely. Or that Hobbs meter has been replaced, or it doesn't work to begin with. So things to keep in mind when you see a low hour tractor in kind of this condition. We'll find out later on that those hours are actually accurate, and that that Hobbs meter does indeed work. So that's good news. All right, let's start cleaning out the rat's nest here. You always want to start with that. Get all the urine-soaked housing materials for the mice out of the engine compartment. Now there's a little PCV crankcase ventilation breather filter. I've never seen a filter like that on the crankcase ventilation thing, especially on these tractors. They normally just have a breather tube or a hose that runs down towards the front of the engine with a check valve or something on it, but that filter is completely clogged up with mice feces and housing material on that, so we'll get that cleaned up later on as well. Now the thing I love about diesels is they don't take much to get running, so hopefully this one won't take too much work. We're just going to start draining all the old diesel or slash kerosene, what it is now, out of the tank. And then we're going to take a look at this little filter assembly here. Looks like it's pumping up good, but it's got a lot of sediment in the filter bowl, so we're going to get all that crap out of there. It's probably been sitting in there quite a while, and we don't want that to get sucked up and clog an injector or anything like that. So gonna go ahead and get all the old gas out of there and clean that filter bowl out, and then go from there. Now on the side of the engine where the little fuel pump is, there's a little lever that you can use to start priming the fuel system. On this one, as you can see from the filter bowl, I didn't have it on completely tight, and it's sitting there kind of dripping the fuller it gets. So we're going to tighten up the fuel bowl and prevent any fires on this first start. Obviously I don't notice it yet. I'm just sitting there pumping away, hoping it'll fill up, and maybe there was some residual, but nope, it just keeps on dripping. So I'm going to tighten it up here momentarily. Oh, yep, there I notice it. Yeah, I should probably fix that. Now, if I didn't have my head in the way, you could see that as I'm sitting here pumping it up, it's not really filling up the bowl completely. So it's not holding prime like it should. That could be a number of things: a clogged injector, a stuck injector, something like that that's allowing air to re-enter the system. You can kind of see that fuel bowl just falling on down. So I don't know if I have the fuel bowl right here tight enough, or if there's a leak internally, or if there's a bad O-ring, but this gets sorted out later. Just thought I'd point it out now. Yep, time to go buy a new battery. So Shut her down. Set up the Walmart. New battery in hand. Well, let's see if this will at least get it cranking a little bit faster. Right here in the loader, this thing is operating a little bit backwards. It should be, when I press outward, it should be dumping the bucket and not curling the bucket. It's not really a problem. All these hydraulic hoses are quick disconnects, and somebody just probably hooked it up backwards. So I'm not worried about that functioning properly at this point in time. I'll fix that later if I decide to buy this or not. So everything functions as it should. It's just in the opposite direction that it should actually go in versus where the lever is actually being pressed. So little things to look at when you're checking out a piece of equipment. As long as it operates at all, those things can be fixed at a later date. So not that big of a deal. right, guys. Well, that was a lot of fun. We got the thing running. It actually runs pretty good. A few little electrical issues we'd have to work out. The left fender needs a headlight and a tail light. That's not that big of a deal, in my opinion. Needs some headlight work on the front above the hood. There's 3 little plug-ins there that are all kind of ripped up and messed up. So not that much money. It would need a full service. Front and rear diffs or axles would need to be serviced. All the fluids need to be changed. It's been sitting outside for 6 years. That's usually a good time to go ahead and just service all the filters and fluids. Hydraulic oil filter, fuel oil filter. I got all of the old fuel out of it, at least most of it, enough to where it would run. There's a little bit of issue with the prime before I got it started anyway. Once it was primed, it actually helped prime pretty good. So that lets me know that the diaphragm's still working, all the lift pump and everything is fine, and it actually works good. So crank up pretty easy, just a little bit, and I mean a little bit of ether helped get it going. Had to go buy a battery, so it was 120 bucks. Sometimes you got to spend a little bit of money just to see if it's worth spending anymore. So they're asking a very fair price for this tractor, and I know about what I would have to put in it to restore it, make it better, you know, all that good stuff. It'd be nice to have an open cab tractor that would be more prone and able to go into the woods without fear of breaking the glass. I know there's been a lot of comments and stuff that everybody's afraid, me included, of taking that tractor, the Coyote with the cab, into the woods and potentially having a branch slap up and break some glass, and that gets expensive real quick. So maybe spend a little bit of money, a couple $1,000 on this smaller tractor, and then be able to do the rough woodwork in the woods with something a lot less powerful, but still just as capable nonetheless. So I'm gonna discuss it with the wife, because that's always a prudent thing to do. We're gonna get her opinion, see what she says about it. Kind of already have an idea of how that conversation is going to go, but she knows I'm really interested in getting a second tractor anyway, so might get this, might not, depending on how that conversation goes over dinner tonight. So like I said, the price is very fair. It's worth what they're asking for it. I typically negotiate on everything, and there's not really a need to negotiate. It is an older tractor. But like I said, the price is really good, and I want to use it to basically buy this tractor, use it for a little while, and potentially fix it up and sell it to somebody else who can enjoy it just as much. Hopefully. That's the plan anyway. That way I could step up to maybe a different piece of equipment and bigger piece of equipment. So I always like getting new toys, and this will be the next new toy on the list, even though it's kind of the same thing I already have, just in a much smaller version. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and if we get this, you'll see it in a future video. If not, this will be all you see of it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video just as much as you do the rest of them. If so, click the like button. If you don't want me to buy it, click the thumbs down button. Let me know in the comments below. For those of you who aren't subscribed, go ahead and click that subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications, that way you get notified just as soon as I get around to posting the next video, where I discuss whether I actually bought this thing and brought it home, or whether I passed on it and I'm gonna let it go to somebody else. So I appreciate you guys as always. Thanks for watching this one. I'll see you on the next one.